They thought I was tripping when I spoke on the shift. Everybody feel it. Divine Wolf.
The inner shift that is taking place will affect every living thing as well as non-living things. So as Martin told Will Smith on the last Bad Boys, man, a storm coming, but you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. He also told Will Smith that he was a baby soul. What do that mean? Family, baby soul means you have yet to come into or step into or become aware of what you are and what you reside in, which is you are energy and you reside amongst and within frequencies. And you don't just reside in it, you receive them and you transmit them, meaning you push them out. So you're not just energy, you are a receiver, a conductor, as well as a generator. So when it speaks about an individual being a baby soul, this is what it's talking about. You don't know that you are more than the body. You don't know that you are more than the mind. You have yet to become aware of thoughts become things. See, we have a lot of people that's speaking about the third eye, the pineal gland, the ascendance to a different realm of being. But see, a lot of people don't understand that you'll still be missing the key element, which is the womb. See, everything is created within the womb, within the feminine energy. So we don't just see the feminine energy is that sacred, silent, calm essence that grants clarity to ideas. And the pineal gland watches it like the sun watches over us and gives energy to everything, no matter whether you are light or dark. It charges it, right? So the key is for you to become aware of you not being thought nor body, but you are source that are perceiving through the windows, which are the eyes, because source resides and sits within the pineal gland. That's why they call it the seat of the soul. We need both forces, family. We need to be able to create an ecosystem within ourselves, and then we'll see one be created within our reality outside of ourselves. It all starts within the womb. So I wrote down a couple things for you guys because, like I told you, my mission here is to not entertain you, but inspire you back to home. So if y'all can see, I wrote all this down, and this right here is like a piece of a book that I'm putting together now that will be set up on social media for a what do they call it? They call it a ebook. So the ebook will be put in play very shortly. But I'm gonna read y'all one page out of this right here. And this is a lesson, and I need you to apply it. And once you apply it, you will know the truth. You won't be wondering about where God is, what is God, because experience births truth. So Let me read it real quick, family. It says the transformation journey. And this right here explains the awakening stages to awaken the heart. All right. The first stage, most of us are born in this stage, which is the sleep state. And the sleep state is the unconscious slumber. It's where you don't know who you are. You don't know where you come from. You don't even know, excuse my French, but what the hell are you even doing here, right? That's the first stage. The second stage is the fracture stage. And this is the stage when pain or something that is very traumatic causes an awakening. And it says, based on the fracture, I put the statement as the moment that breaks, meaning the unconscious slumber, where something shook you up so hard that you started to become aware of the inner world. In other words, the feminine started to catch a lot of backlash. And what that may feel like is a lot of tension. And see, tension is like a gauge for the feminine energy. And the goal is for you to keep it as calm as possible. That's why the saying goes, happy wife, happy life, right? The third stage to awakening the heart, once the fracture takes place, is awareness. The first light of seeing. This is when you start to become aware of cause and effect, the laws of the universe, that you are everything and there's nobody to blame. You chooses who you want to play in your movie or who you want to cast in your movie and who you don't want. But most of us have that button on autopilot, meaning we let people come in our gates of our mind, our reality, our emotions, come up in our womb whenever they want, however they want, without even taking their shoes off. So then we become aware of those things and we start to set boundaries. Let's get to the next one, family. After awareness comes observation. Observation is the sacred art of witnessing. You start to pay attention to everything around you, where it's like you're in a movie, but you're not just watching the movie now, or you're not just the character in the movie now. You're also watching the character and the movie at the same time. This is where life starts to look different than what we were taught. This is also where we start to recognize what real connections are. We start to become aware of what family means, what love really is, and what hate is. Because love and hate both have different degrees, but they're one and the same force. All right? That's why the goal is to create balance in the masculine and feminine, meaning in the thought and the emotion. Because when you're a villain, there's no such thing as balance. Because chaos creates or births a new creation if it's perceived right. So this right here is where you start to go into that cocoon, that state of feeling like you're alone, feeling like everybody has turned their back on you, things of that nature. Now, once the observation state is fully activated and you start to feel like the walls are closing down or closing within on you, you then go to the next stage, which is the stage of healing. And a lot of people started to go through this stage around the first or middle part of last year. Everybody been talking about self-love and healing and all kind of things like that. Now, for the healing, it says restore the inner temple. See, when you start restoring the inner temple, see, you got to first know that you are the temple. And the temple is here on both sides of the head, right? So if you are restoring the temple, that would say that you are rebuilding or recalibrating your perspective. That's why when you're in the stage of observation and you go into healing, while healing, what helps you heal is just like if you had a girlfriend or a boyfriend when you were younger, right? And they would always tell you the easiest way to get over one person is to go ahead and get another, which is totally ridiculous, right? But, at that time we didn't know. So it's the same way when you're going through this situation of transformation and you're in the observation state, stepping into the state of healing, you do the same thing, right? Instead of dwelling over the old attachment, meaning of people, places, and things, you start to not go back to who you used to be. I'm going to get back to me. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about a person that you ain't never been and you have the potential to be. All right. And this is something that you are in the higher realms, but the goal is for you to become that in the lower realm, meaning your kingdom come, your will be done, heaven on earth. All right. Now the healing will consist of things like implementing new things that will catapult you into the new identity. All right. So if the old identity was listening to certain talk shows, certain music, hanging around certain people and going to certain places, in the stage of observation, you observe the people, places, and things that the old version used to dwell. And you become aware of what can go with you to the next stage in your journey and what can't go. And those are going to always play around the Trinity, people, places, and things. Once you have observed the people, places, and things that can and can't go, then you make a intentional decision to move forward only on the things that catapults you into purpose. All right. And it may feel a little scary, or you may allow procrastination to creep in. And I'm saying that because that happened with me. I had all the space and opportunity due to the universe pulling me back from the world so that I could go through the observation process, the healing process, so that I could activate, right? And I procrastinated a lot. So I'm just saying, don't allow procrastination to drain you of your energy, meaning your time, when it comes down to applying new techniques that could birth you into the alchemist or the architect that we all are. So long story short, apply everything to you with awareness that everything you pay attention to or look at, you're giving your garden nutrition and water. And see, the Garden of Eden only means whatever you feed your garden, whatever you eat, right? And that's the truth, family. So let's get to the next one. Activation. Activation just represents the spark awakening. And this is when a lot of people start talking about, I've been through an awakening and all this and that, but awakening has different stages. I've been through multiple awakenings and constantly go through them. And as you go through them, you start to recognize when one is coming on. You start to recognize when you have leveled up in consciousness because your creativity get skyrocketed. You start to see a heightened level of um, visuals on your timelines, whether it's Facebook, YouTube. You going in the stores, you see the store racks and everything set up different. You see restaurants and stores pop up on streets that you never saw. You see people start looking different, look like they're glowing, eyes brighter than ever. You see everything different if you become and stay aware. Don't worry about what the title was that they told you you're looking at in your reality. Let go and just look at it and see what it tells you it is. You got me? And the only way you can see is to pour more oil in your lamp. You need more knowledge, family, of geometry. How straight lines and curvatry work together as one. How the shadow and the light work together as one. How light and dark is just one force. And if that force is not regulated in an orderly fashion, it will cause chaos. But on the flip side, if law and order is applied consistently, you birth a new reality. That puts us into the next stage, which is alignment. And alignment just stands for walking the path of truth. So that means whatever the idea is that you have in your heart to bring forth to the collective at this time. And it could be multiple things, but don't allow multiple things to cause you to not get one thing in play and running with you there or without your being there. All right. So once you know what you want to do, then everything that you do on a daily basis, you must let purpose tell you what to do. Let that vision guide you on your daily basis on every decision that you make. That's what alignment is. That's how you start to be recognized by the universe, and then the universe starts to reflect back to you in such a coherent way, in such a it don't miss way that it'll blow your mind. See, once you walk the path of alignment for a certain period of time, it puts you into the next state, which is purpose. And see, purpose is just the representation of remembering why you came. And see, when you're in alignment and you're in purpose for a certain period of time, nothing else don't feel right. It's almost like, it's exactly like one time when I left a job multiple times. I only went to a job to get money together or either to establish credit so that I could then invest in myself, invest in whatever my wife and I had at heart to bring forth to the collective. And a lot of times when you step into purpose for a little while and then you go back due to not having a proper foundation, now you got to go back to a job. When you go back to that job after, tasting purpose, the frequency of co-creating, it's never the same. See, we're not built to go backwards. We're built to go forward, right? That's why if you're living in the past, you're out of alignment. See, once your consciousness has been expanded, you can't go back. You can't see and then try to unsee. It don't work that way, family. Once you see, separation starts to take place. And if you start to act like you don't know when you know, that's when the battle within shows up outside, because it's going to get your attention one way or the other. But once you remember why you came here, you start to become very disciplined. You start to become very aware of every move you make. You start to become like a scientist. You start to dissect every single thing, right? And as you do that, you then step into the next stage, which is creation. And creation represents building from the soul, meaning who you are, your unique expression, your unique expression of the Most High. And when you step into creation, this is where your superpower lies because in this state, nobody can do what you do. And in this state, you don't follow trends, you set them. I'm going to say that again. You don't follow trends, you set them. And how you set them is because you are no longer dwelling in the mind and the body. You have awakened to a higher state of consciousness where you have total access to imagination, to the womb, to the what some would call the Akashic records, right? Where any and everything that can ever be possible is there. All right. And when you're there, you become source in the flesh. All right. Now let's get to the last one. Mastery. Mastery stands for living as the light you are. So now you get to a point where it's no longer just practicing, meaning you forcing yourself to do it on a daily basis. You sometimes don't want to do it and you don't do it. And then sometimes when you want to do it, you do it. But when you step into mastery, it's like discipline, consistency, and action becomes automatic. It's like you don't think about should you work on yourself today. You look forward to working on yourself. You be ready to get up and experience thyself. You look at the world from a whole different perspective. Why? Because like I said once before, you're no longer in the club on the dance floor. You're up on the balcony like ghosts on Power, right? And you looking down. And now you can see all the components moving so that if anything go incorrect, you know where to fix it at. Why? Because you've been to hell and back. So hell don't scare you no more. All right? And you start to accumulate this wealth of compassion within your heart due to applying those stages of awakening that I just talked to you about. By applying these things, you patch the heart. By applying these things, you no longer cast your net to the left, which is the logic brain or the logic mind, logic side. You start to cast your net consistently to the right hemisphere, which is the feminine side where creation and creativity lies. All right. So, like I said on the start of this message, family, every living thing as well as non-living thing will be affected by this once every 12,000 years shift of the poles. All right. So at the end of the day, family, always remember, you are everything and exactly who you were always looking for. But until you can believe, you will never know. And we're no longer in Pisces in age, meaning the age of Pisces, where belief was the leading factor. No, family. The age of Aquarian has approached, and as this fire horse blazed the trail throughout the rest of this year, it's going to be about knowing who you are, standing in that, walking in that, last but not least, expressing that. As above, so below. One love,
Can't
family.
hate your darkness if you want true challenge.
This isn't just a podcast, it's a shift in consciousness. Every topic on the Divine Wolf podcast is designed to awaken, challenge, and transform how you think, feel, and live. Tap in or stay asleep.
I seen a split before it happened, they was sleeping. Everybody preaching love, but secretly they demons. Everybody wearing smiles, but inside they bleeding. Whole world disconnected from the real deeper meaning. I was talking frequency, they laughed at the vision.